that's almost on you.
Just learn through osmosis.
I feel like I have hat hair. Does that count?
Interesting.
Fair enough.
It's close enough, we'll count it.
Hmm.
Do you guys like my hat?
I don't. I hate it, actually.
Yeah, Rose, what's
So
going on here?
beautiful.
It's so pretty. Look at it.
Your hat.
Yeah,
melted.
see? Don't be a negative Nelly. I think it looks great.
Thank you. I don't know. I feel like everyone's being so negative about it. It's like pink, you know?
I mean, with the massive feathers coming out of the top, as we can all clearly see,
Yeah,
it's
how can
really
you hate
just
pink?
And it has a swan, like a live swan.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. I
do
think
we
it's fighting
have-
the rabbit up there.
Do we have anybody coming in? Anybody else coming in, Natalie?
I don't. Matt, I need you to take over for 20 seconds because I'm trying to fake being at a required appointment that I'm supposed to be at. So introduce yourself and I'll after.
Hi. Hello, Miss Lesser, or I'm sorry, I don't know your pronouns. If anybody wants to drop their pronouns in chat, go for it.
Yeah,
if
my
not, I'm gonna look like an a-hole.
she, her. Yeah.
She, her. Awesome. Same here. Hi, my name is Maddie. I am the other editor-in-chief of The Milking Cat, co-editors with Natalie. I've been doing The Milking Cat for almost a year and a half now. And if you can't tell by the weird room, I go to a boarding school. So if you see someone walking into my room in the background, ignore that. And yeah, and I think my hat says my entire personality is based around Spider-Man, which is true. So it is lovely to meet you, and we've got some really cool questions for you, and hopefully this will be a great time. Thank you so much for your willingness to talk to us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Hi, I'm Natalie. I've reached out to you, and I'm one of the co-editor-in-chiefs of the Milking Cat. I actually also go to boarding school. This is the first time we've had two editors go to boarding school, but I go to boarding school in New Hampshire. Let's see, I do a lot of journalism work, and also just work vaguely in politics and economics. So I'm kind of involved in clubs at school and off campus and those kinds of fields. This is the only thing I do related to comedy because I'm actually not that funny, which comes as a surprise to people because I'm really cool and people tend to think that those sort of correlate. But you know, not all of us who are cool can be funny. So this is the only thing I do related to comedy. In my free time, I like to walk around in circles, walk to the grocery store, and drink a box of tea a day. I'm a pack a day kind of gal. Those are my free time activities.
So
In order, as much as I value all you guys, I think doing intros for everyone would be kind of crazy. So, if anyone has like something they're like dying to say right now, just like say it.
speak now or forever hold your peace.
All right, y'all. Take this over.
All right, Rose, what do you got for us?
So, all my writing is like ripped off from Lana Del Rey, basically. Like, I just listen to her music, and that's how I write everything.
Okay,
Except for
Claudia.
here.
Sorry, the joke is too soon.
But here, when I write for the Milking Cat, I just sit in silence and listen to the laughter outside, and listen to like those laugh tracks from the 1960s.
I'm assuming that's how like every successful comedian writes their jokes. Like they can't listen to anything. It's just a slow descent into madness while you have like Boy Meets World laugh tracks in the background. Alrighty. Do we want to Renae, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Renae Lesser. I'm the co-publisher of The Funny Times. The Funny Times actually have a copy here. For those of you who don't know, oh, I have like a blur, so you can't see anything. It's just blurry. But it's a physical object. This is it's a print comedy newspaper. It's not just digital. And we've been around for 38 years. And so it makes us the largest and longest running print humor publication in the country. And I am actually the second generation Funny Times publisher because it was founded by my parents, Steve and Ray.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it's a family business. We have 10 issues per year and about 55,000 print subscribers. And it's a mix of cartoons and also like humorous essays and satire.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Alrighty, well, do we want to get into the questions? Is that good with everybody?
I think Ben does.
Oh, I would love to. I've been waiting my whole life for this. Let's not waste any time. Should we go?
Shoot.
You got this, Ben. Horses
All
off.
right. Should I take this one for the team? Okay.
I think you should.
You got to be brave.
Hi, my name's Ben, and I would say I'm sort of the face of the brand. And my question for you, 100% made by me and only me, is what do you like about your job, and what are maybe some aspects that are slightly more taxing or difficult?
I like a lot of things about my job. My job is really cool because I just like I get to work with like only people that I like. I work with my friends, I work with my partner. The editor is a good friend. My cousin is the director of operations. We have a great time. Let's see. It's also a really funny place to work. Like people can just kind of be themselves. There's like staff who have been around for literally since the beginning. There's a staff member who is like my family's midwife. Like that's like how far back some of, like deep cuts here. And yeah, I just feel like people can be themselves and like be grumpy or be goofy or whatever. I would definitely say like not everyone is actually funny, but I don't think that's a requirement. And actually,
That's the case with the milking cat.
Yeah, and I actually think that if you're someone who like doesn't laugh that easily, I think that can make you like a better editor of humor things because you're like going to be a little more discerning. Like something kind of has to catch you by surprise, or like, you've seen it all. And I feel like when you're, especially with cartoons, when you've read the quantity of cartoons that you would have to read to do editing for the funny times, like cartoons don't look the same, right? Like it's like they become like gobbledygook, like, and so then when something can catch you off guard, then you know that that's like actually a very interesting cartoon. In terms of what I like, what's a drag or like what can be like a less enjoyable part of the job. I mean, I think the fact that it is still a business, so there still are like spreadsheets and there still is like, there's like decisions that need to be made and like technical things go wrong. And like, I think just all the day-to-day grind of like, it is still sometimes work, unfortunately, but I feel like it's probably a cooler job than most.
Rose.
Hi again. So I was wondering, like, how did you get involved in comedy?
Well, as I mentioned, I would actually, the story starts when my mom was in labor. She was literally like trying to get layout for an issue done while she was in labor with me. So
Grind never stops.
That was
Wow.
all the way back. Yeah. Yeah, the laughs must go on. And when I was growing up, the newspaper was being run out of our house at the time. Like now we have an office and all that. But at the time, layout was like on the table and there was like the phones would ring and it would be like subscribers calling. And we used to like, when we would go on family vacations, we would like throw parties for subscribers like wherever we went. So got to meet a lot of cool people that way. When cartoonists were like passing through town or comedy writers were passing through town, like they would stay at our house. So I feel like it was just a huge part of like growing up was comedy and humor. So I feel really lucky for that reason.
That is incredibly cool. So you would say it's definitely, the Funny Times is definitely a family business. How do you think growing up in that environment affected you kind of as a person as a whole?
Psychologically? Oh.
Yeah, what's the deep-rooted trauma you got from being surrounded by all these funny people?
I will say
You
that
gotta have something.
in like in a very annoying way, I kind of like think in little punchlines. Like I kind of like see the world in like annoying little single panel cartoons. And I'm absolutely certain like probably gets on most people's nerves, but also, you know, I feel like it has its ups and downs. You know, some people like it, but other than that,
Awesome.
yeah.
So interesting.
Elsa.
Hello, I'm Elsa. About me, I sprained my thumb recently. I also have glasses now. So I have a question that's a little different. If you were any kitchen appliance, which one would you be and when?
Oh, and when?
Mm-hmm.
Um, hmm. Um, I guess I would be a my first thought was that I would be a toaster in the 1980s so that I could be a brave little toaster. But then my second thought was that I would be like an electric hot water heater a few minutes after I reached boiling. So it's just that just right spot where you can make tea.
That's a good
Smart.
answer. It's a good answer. We've gotten toaster a couple times too. Toaster's a fairly common answer.
Hmm.
I don't know what that says about society. It says something.
We like things very quick and easy to make, I guess. Not a lot of
Yeah.
effort.
That's true. Do we got toasters?
I need Subway Surfers in the background while I make my toast.
I was a stand mixer in my interview, so
I have a question. What happened to Mia? And is her body in the back of your trunk?
Mia couldn't come, but she was really looking forward to it, and it, you know, wishes she could be here.
Do you have an alibi?
She has a migraine.
Mm. Yeah, if we can get a doctor's note for that, actually. Or it will be docked from your pay that you're not getting paid for to be here.
Yeah,
Do
fun
we
fact,
have
don't pay anyone here. I'm sure we're breaking some sort of child labor law.
Hmm.
Can you break child labor laws if you yourself are a child?
I am turning 18.
we can sure try.
So we
We'll
can
try
sure
our
try.
hardest.
That's our motto. We can try. Never give up.
Never back down, never give up.
But
Hello. Okay.
What happens when you aren't teenagers anymore? Do you have to like resign?
Leave. Yeah.
It's like you're outed.
It's not even
So
you graduate high school.
yeah, it's when you
You get a
graduate high school,
retirement
you
party.
typically can't come back.
That's so sad.
I
We
mean,
still have like a good connection. Like a lot of the past editors and chiefs still stay connected with the site. We definitely have a lot of people. There's definitely connections, especially when you're in college. And I know like Natalie stayed with some people who used to work for the site and stuff like that. It's a good community.
very much a vibe. Highly recommend joining if you ever invest in a time machine.
True.
I've been told I have a childlike face.
I feel like you blend right in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. Coming from a print background with comedy, how do you think social media has changed, especially written comedy, and what do you think people can learn from those kind of influences?
I mean, I think social media has brought, I think like webcomics, for example, have brought like a different sort of sensibility to comics. And it's like at the same time as you see a lot of print publications no longer have editorial cartoonists, which is really sad. And there's fewer venues for that kind of cartooning. There's sort of like other cultural waves that are there's still always going to be, there's memes, there's people who are doing webcomics, there's like other formats and other ways for people to get their like stuff out there. I also think things like Patreon make it so that content creators can get money directly for their stuff, and like I'm all in support of like people who are contributors getting paid well. So
Awesome, thank you. Do we have any other questions? Yeah.
As in, we also drop questions in our Slack that anyone can feel free to ask too. If not, I could ask my final question.
I
I think
mean,
Lillian.
I got one. If it's not your final question, I feel like someone kind of stole the one I was originally going to do, but that's fine. Hi, I'm Lillian. I'm a very recent addition to the Milking Cat, but my question is, what advice would you not give to prospective comedians? Like, what's the one thing that you absolutely should not do under any circumstance, aside short of like killing and kidnapping your audience?
yeah,
I mean, listen, it may work for some people.
I will
Kidnapping
say,
may work for some people.
I will
Holding
say,
them hostage in your basement and forcing them to watch you perform.
I would say like just know your audience. Like if you're, I think we get so many submissions where this is clearly to someone who like didn't know what they like didn't know what the venue they were sending to was. And it's like, we aren't gonna publish, you know, some really like blue humor or some really conservative political cartoon, or like, I mean, there's just like things that we won't publish, and you sort of shake your head and you're like, maybe you shouldn't. Also, like some people just maybe also don't need to be in comedy.
Mm.
There's like other
Fair
things.
So, so Instagram comedians is what you're saying.
I don't know.
Who is someone you would say shouldn't be in comedy but is?
I want to hear this.
I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of the people who shouldn't be in comedy aren't in comedy. They're really persistently trying. And that's not to say that people shouldn't keep trying. But I think that right now we're at a place where like we are really looking for new voices. We're looking for younger, more diverse contributors. So it's really cool that publications like yours exist, because it's kind of like the next wave of humor. And I hope that you'll consider trying to, you know, submit something to the Funny Times.
Definitely. Do you have any sort of, I mean, because I'm sure that you see that there's a difference within actual print media as well as like digital websites, magazines like the Milking Cat is. What would you say have you learned, especially from working for print media specifically?
As opposed to digital?
As opposed to digital, yeah. Is there something different that you've learned about comedy?
Well, I think that there's just a different, I think like the timeliness is different, right? Like when you have more time to put together spreads, I think there's a different kind of curation and cohesion that you can create. So like one of the things that we do is like, as a current event is happening, or as there's like a topic over a long period of time, we'll wait until we have a lot of things around that theme or topic, and then we can put together like a whole spread that's really strong, that like where everything kind of like holds together nicely. And I think that as much as there's so many strengths to digital media and social media, but it often is like, it's about like when you have something, you put it out right then, and that allows you to like comment on things right when they happen, but it also means that there can be a little less curation. So I think that's like one of the nice things and enduring things about print, is that like you can hold it and it's there, and like you hopefully made something nice enough that like people will keep it around. So
yeah,
That's awesome. I'm a big fan of print media. I'm a big fan of anything that's physical nowadays. I'm really tired of looking at screens, but
Same. I get home and I have a gigantic headache because my math homework is on like Notability and stuff. My French agenda is
Notability.
all Google Docs. Yet Notability sucks. I only got an Apple Pencil exclusively because I couldn't do my homework.
yeah,
I mean, it was a good investment, but like,
I feel like there's a real charm to print, and I feel like that is one of the niches that we hit, is that kind of nostalgia people have for like opening the newspaper and turning to the funnies, and like our whole paper is just the funnies.
Yeah.
So it's like just the fun part of the newspaper and not all the other miserable parts of the newspaper.
I'm a big fan of oral tradition. I think we should just sort of, talk about it a lot.
I think the Milking Cat should just have an
Here.
annual campfire where we all sit around the campfire and tell just every joke we can think of, good or bad. Just no
should.
circumcision jokes as usual.
The funny farm, yeah.
Yes, the funny farm.
Like Dr. Phil's?
I mean, my family owns a farm. It's pretty big. It's not
Let's
like
do
a
Let's go.
classic farm, but like we could get people out there, I bet.
Is it in
Let's
Vermont?
go.
Let's go.
No, it's in Houston, Texas.
Oh boy. That's
I have a garden in Texas.
I'm in California, so
Yeah.
I'd have to pull some strings, but
All right, well, awesome. I'm going to ask my final question. It's a bit counterintuitive to one of the
Wait.
Oh,
I have one more question.
go for it.
Rose, you gotta catch it.
I mean,
You gotta
I
catch
do
the
too, but-
question.
So I was wondering, do you think it's possible to do like multiple, I guess, genres? Or do you think like people work better when they like specialize more?
I mean, I think some of my favorite like humor writers and cartoonists do cross genres. Like growing up, I always really loved like Alison Bechdel, who did like Dykes to Watch Out For, and we would run her stuff in Funny Times. And now like she does like memoir and more serious things and like made a play and all these things. And I think that like if you're really talented and creative, like it's common. I think it's common that you're like able to tell stories in lots of different ways, and that's like a strength.
Yeah.
I
Also, really quick
every genre.
random question, can I ask?
Who yes.
Hi. Can you buy subscriptions to your column for like family members? I feel like my granddad, he's a really big funnies comics kind of dude. I feel like he'd really enjoy your column.
Yeah, so it's a newspaper. It's 24 pages, 10 issues a year, and you can subscribe at thefunnytimes.com. And one of the most common ways that people become subscribers is that they were originally gift recipients, which makes us very different, I think, than like other newspapers. It's like a gifting economy of our like subscriber base. And there's like some people who give like it's like their main Christmas gift to everyone. They get like 10 subscriptions and they give them to everyone in their family. So you can definitely get a subscription for your grandpa. Yes.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Now, anyone else or forever hold your peace. You will never ever talk to Renae ever again in your lifetime, ever.
I'm like,
got one question.
What?
I got one.
Oh, you have a question?
Yeah. I'm Sahasra. By the way, I'm a cheese enthusiast. So if you were a character in a sitcom, what would be your catchphrase?
Oh, asking the tough questions.
Additionally, what is your favorite sitcom? Just for curiosity reasons.
I'm gonna say, I don't know, I'm not a huge sitcom person, but I feel like Curb Your Enthusiasm is like a classic.
Interesting.
Larry
So
David.
assuming like Seinfeld too?
Not as funny to me, but yeah.
Opinion on Friends.
It opened the door to other sitcoms, so in that sense, but I wouldn't go back and watch Seinfeld right now. Catchphrase. I don't know, maybe
That was hard. I could not answer that question.
Yeah, I was about to say. In 5th grade, I was really determined to have a catchphrase for some reason because I was like a discount Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, and so mine was like genius. And anytime I would do something sarcastically, I would go genius. And it got to the point where my teacher had to sit me down and tell me like, "You're not gonna get a catchphrase. Like, this isn't gonna happen for you. This isn't good. Please stop."
that's just the answer, is that you can't force. My answer is that you can't force a catchphrase, and anyone who tries to force a catchphrase fails from the start. It has to be like put upon you, you know?
Greatness is
I've
thrust upon.
kind of accidentally found myself falling into the rabbit hole of having a catchphrase, and I didn't even intend for it to happen. I just say that's valid to like almost everything, and that's just become my thing, and it's spread to my friends.
Oh,
I've infected them.
I kind of do that low key. That's another one. I say low key too much. Even in my text messages, you guys all know.
Mm. My friend says,
That's a
"Ayo."
teenager moment right there.
I feel like these aren't catchphrases. This is just slang though.
Yeah.
I'll literally just respond real to anything anyone says. And like the other day, my friend was like talking and I just completely zoned out and I was just like real whenever like she paused. And she was literally
Dog
telling me
died.
about how her dog died. And I just said real.
Yeah, I like what
Is that right?
Like, sorry, what did you say?
Oh, before you said that, I made a joke about a dog dying, and then you said her dog died.
No, yeah, literally, her dog died.
And on that fun note, we're probably gonna end around here.
Wait, I had one last question.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, Natalie, question.
Okay. What is something, an object, an idea, a memory, a phenomenon that you think about way too much?
Hmm.
Your Roman Empire, if you will.
Oh yeah. It's
That-
definitely the Roman Empire. Let me think. I mean, I think a lot about my cat. Right now, my cat has a little like skin infection, and this like it gets cuter than that. But the vet prescribed her a little t-shirt that she has to wear because otherwise she'll lick at her like little skin infection. And so now she just like walks around looking so embarrassed because she has a little t-shirt on, and I feel so bad for her, but it's so cute.
You,
So
you
I
need to
find
like
myself-
customize a t-shirt.
yeah, maybe like a little screen
Okay.
printing, her name on it. Yeah.
Like little princess or something. Like you gotta do something ironic.
Yeah.
Or just have a skull and fire.
Mhm.
I think a cat having a milking cat shirt would be very funny.
Yeah, we need to get on pet merch actually.
We really should. I have a cat who's probably somewhat willing to model, and a dog, and a rabbit.
Hell yeah. Alrighty.
Call my friend, tell her, hey, get your bearded dragon out here. We're just gonna go ham.
Where did the name the milking cat come from?
I think it might be on our about page, but our founder Benji Elkins made it. I think he just thought it was funny.
He got it from the Meet the Parents bit. In the movie Meet the Parents, Ben Stiller, I'm pretty sure it's the guy, makes a joke about milking cats. It's like that's his job because he's trying to lie or something. I don't know. It's a weird movie.
Oh yeah.
It's a really weird
And
movie.
so it's a weird movie. And so he said that, and apparently Benji thought that was funny enough to merit naming a magazine off of it, and then it just kind of went on from there.
Yeah.
I feel like the Funny Times name is fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah. What?
It's of a dark history.
Does the Funny Times have a dark history?
Yeah.
No, not really. I think it has like a pretty above board history. The anecdote about like how it went from being like a local rag to going national is a little bit scandalous because my parents had been doing like the Back to the Land thing, and they had been back in Cleveland. And then they used their last, like, they like sold 3 pot plants and a tractor, which were like the last vestiges of their Back to the Land life, in order to like get the money to like try sending it out nationally to get subscribers. And it like did surprisingly well. But I always like that little tidbit.
Okay.
That's really interesting.
Mhm.
Well, that's all I have. I don't know if anyone else has anything else they want to get out. Any last minute jitters? Do you have any questions for us?
What brought you all to is it like comedy writing? Do you all write for the Milking Cat? What like how did you find out about this, and like how did you all meet, and like what's the backstory?
The New York Times.
There's a New York Times article that has the 50 best literary magazines that teens and kids can submit to. And I think that's where a good amount of us found the Milking Cat, through that list, and either had something funny or wanted to get published at some point.
So
And
cool.
Oh, my
don't worry,
friend
we
was
make a
already-
big deal out of it.
My friend was already a writer here, and she thought that my writing was really good, so she bullied me into doing an interview. But I like it here.
Nice.
Yeah, does anybody else have some like funny or weird stories on how they found out about the Milking Cat?
My college counselor found out about it through the New York Times article, and then she told me. So it was sort of like a, what do you call that? The Kevin Bacon
grapevine?
7 degrees, but or of separation.
That's
I
wild.
was like 2 degrees. Yeah.
Guys,
That is wild.
when I was trying to submit here for the first time, I had the most unfunny person I know read what I wrote, and then she didn't like it. So then I knew I should submit it, and that was how I got it.
I feel like that's a good like editing process. Like, get someone that you really just don't find funny and see if they find it funny. I feel like there's like a tip somewhere in there.
Yeah, just find the most boring person you know, and if they find what you wrote funny, it's bad. Like that's when you know you've hit rock bottom.
But you also got to find the difference between a boring person and a person who's hard to make laugh. Because if you can make the second person laugh, then you're golden. If you're talking about the first person, you're screwed. Got to make some differentiate. We got to make like a chart, like a Venn diagram, and post it up on like the main page of the website so people know what we're dealing with.
Someone should make
Don't
that
worry,
as the
y'all.
next submission.
I'll make
Lillian, are
it.
you wearing a Cats hoodie?
Colin dibs. I am. Yes.
That is so boss. Can I
That
tell you
is
what
boss.
one of my favorite movies ever? Cats 2019. I loved it. I have it on Blu-ray. I've seen it like 6 times. It's so good.
I unironically really love the dancing in that movie. I thought it was so cool, and I also love the covers of the songs.
The Taylor Swift one, oh,
Mm.
ripped
I
my
like
heart
the
out.
Rebel
Idris Elba could
Wilson, like I like the Rebel Wilson cockroach dancing cat. That was a highlight of the movie for me.
God, what's her name? Jenny Anydots.
It's also Magical Mr. Mistopheles. I could
Yes.
listen to that, like one song for the whole year. That would be mine.
Yeah. For
Wow.
me, it was
Anyway.
Skimble Shanks the Railway Cat. It was the tap
Did I
number.
just
The
make
tap
the
number
song
Skimble
of the
Shanks.
summer?
You gotta get on the Skimble. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, all
No,
good.
you're all good.
I love it.
I
love
honestly
it.
love the musical so much too. The Mr. Mistopheles dude was my favorite.
On that note, thank you so much for meeting with us. We were honored to have you here. And you are a role model to all of us young comedians out there. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. This was amazing.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Way more fun than most interviews, I will say.
Thank you.
Before we all head out, can we take a group picture for the Instagram?
Sure.
All right, everybody do like an awkward like.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, I thought we were doing jazz hands.
Or we can do, yeah, just do like an awkward like.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys. I'm gonna go write a 5-page analytical essay now. Bye.
Goodbye.
Cool, I'm
Thank you
gonna
so
go do a
much.
10-minute independent oral exam.
Oh,
Luck with all of that. Okay. Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.